Electrical, bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440. It's like a locker room minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for sports.
Wendy's most important deal of the day has a fresh lineup. Pick any 2 breakfast items for $4. New 4-piece French toast sticks, bacon or sausage wrap, biscuit or English muffin sandwiches, small hot coffee, and more. Limited time only at participating Wendy's. Taxes extra.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, a special edition with both members of Inside the Truck podcast, Steve Lansky and Paul Hemming. We'll spend the next 2 hours talking sports, sports television, about the podcast, and so much more. And what we might hear from them in the future on the podcast, a little bit about Utah Mammoth broadcasts and the success of the team. And we'll, of course, slide Oilers, Jays, and more into the conversation as we go along. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Employee pricing continues on the entire lineup of 2025 Sierra trucks. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com, where we're making it easy. As you know, we're live on YouTube and Sports 1440, online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, we tweeted out on X. We have Apple and Spotify podcast as well. On Twitter, at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04, at SamW1440, and you can text or call anytime at 833-401-1440. We, of course, have Steve and Paul. We will have Jason Krueger here to tease the 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock Jason Krueger show at about 1:20 today. First, it's time for the introductions. He rides a bike to work every day. I think we need to fund a few Uber rides based on how the weather is getting worse and worse. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sam Wilness. Sam Wilness.
Hi, how are we doing today?
I imagine that when you got here via bike, you probably spent an hour trying to get your hair back in line.
No, I managed to put it all in the little setup I got right now. Right. And
so you had a net of some sort.
Almost.
He drives a roadworthy older car to work, and based on the 0 to 60 speed he gets up when he's chasing me down in the parking lot, he's set for winter. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. There we go.
One of these days, I'm going to catch you tied.
Yeah.
And then it's down low with Declan Krueger.
There you go. His first podcast was not a success. The podcast was called Lansky, Tramps and Thieves, and it didn't do well. He did get it right the second time. It's Steve Lansky, everybody. Steve Lansky. Do we have Steve's mic on? Yeah, just go ahead, Steve.
What would you like me to say? I did like the Cher reference. I thought that was great. Yes.
I thought, how can I get more corny than Cher? And I did.
Yeah, you know.
Thank you for the pumpkin pies.
You're very welcome.
I did bring the whipped cream.
I see.
And so I don't know whether we have like 11 plates or not, but we'll see how that goes.
Do we need plates? What about just forks?
Well, honest to God, it's not a bad idea.
No, it's not.
You've never seen me eat in a shared environment.
I have seen you eat, and now let's walk that back. Yeah.
All right. This is his first appearance on the show, but at least one listener has already mistaken him and suggested that he was the creator of the Beverly Hillbillies. It's Paul Hemming. Paul, did you catch that tweet?
I did. I loved it. I thought that was awesome.
So, I mean, but that's pretty good writing. Cement Pond and Fancy Eating Table, and
right.
And when they went to England, they somehow owned a castle, and the butler greeted them, and his name was Faversham, and they said, "What's your name?" And he said Faversham, and they suddenly thought that's how you said hello over there. So everything was Faversham.
If you tried to sell that today,
no,
you'd spend eternity.
No by the way, in honor of you, I have the Muppets. What's the name of
Waldorf and Statler.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody called you that on the show, or at least suggested that was you. Is that correct?
Yes, that is. Yes, that's correct.
And has that taken off at all?
Thank God. No, because we're not that. Are we that? No, we're not. No. Okay.
Okay.
I just want to know who's who. That's all. I
Okay.
want to know.
All right. Can and I don't want to get Paul in trouble earlier, but Paul, can we agree just with the wink of an eye that one of you might be?
Sorry, I've got something in my eye.
I don't want to exclude Steve, but you know what I mean.
Oh God! I'm at the end of the table and I've been cut out already.
All
He's
right.
right there.
I know. I'm going to try to refrain from having you guys answer questions from the text line that involve the Oilers, but they might come through.
Okay.
Josh is taking care of that, and he'll do a bang up job. He may interrupt us in mid conversation, but that's okay because this is for the listeners. And there's a great deal of curiosity about television presentation of hockey games, football games, whatever it may be, what goes on behind the scenes. Nobody asked me about how this show comes together. I don't know why, but everybody's interested in the minutia of putting on a television broadcast. You sent out a tweet, Paul, with all of the different screens you were looking at in the studio. And I was like, I enlarged it as much as I possibly could just to see what was going on, right? Like what you had ready to go. When you're looking at that, are you just saying go to this, then to this? Or is it just that's pregame and you're just setting it up so you know everything works?
No, those are all monitors that have live feeds in them. And the monitors that are based in front of me in the truck are all camera monitors. So like yesterday in Winnipeg, I had 15 or 16 cameras at my disposal at any time to cut those. It's controlled chaos. So there's a method to the madness. You cut the game with the basic 4 or 5 cameras, and then everything else is sort of enhanced off of that. So, but when people come in the truck that have never been in the truck and stand in there for 30 seconds, their heads just explode.
Now, not to frame this as a young versus old, but 15 or 16 cameras, how many would you have had during Hockey Night in Canada?
Okay, we're only like 4 years apart.
I understand that, but you worked in the earlier parts of
the most cameras I ever had was at the Grey Cup in 1989, and it was 19.
Okay.
2 of them were fixed, 1 in each dressing room, so really 17 active cameras for a director, Ron Harrison. Yeah.
But cameras, the number of cameras have taken off just with like the robo cameras and POV cameras and all that.
Yeah.
I directed the Sidney Crosby gold medal game in Vancouver, and that show we only had 23. And on a weekly game for TNT, I had plus 30. So
that must confuse the issue for you.
It can, because you get paid to make decisions in milliseconds. Yeah. So it's easier when you've only got 1 or 2 to pick, as opposed to like 4 or 5 potential options, right?
Would you just go other camera?
Yeah,
other camera, other camera.
Yeah,
that's when you have 2 cameras,
and or not that one. I wanted the other one. Yeah,
the other left.
Yeah, exactly. That has happened too. Yeah.
All right, we're in conversation with Paul Hemming and Steve Lansky inside the Truck Podcast. This is the first question I wanted to ask you formally. Which of you is the brains behind Inside the Truck?
You know what? I don't know what you're going to answer. I think it's the best division of shared responsibility and brains that I have ever seen in my entire life. I didn't expect that. I don't know what I expected, but I do all the audio editing, and this guy's creativity, I knew he was kind of creative. He's got more creativity in his little finger than I got in my whole body. And he does the stuff I don't do, and I do the stuff he doesn't do. So I don't know how to answer your question other than it's one shared brain.
This podcast doesn't happen though without Steve. Just this was born in the pandemic,
right?
And he had been on me. We got to do a podcast. We got to do a podcast. And I'm like, nobody's going to care about this, And then all of a sudden, I was unemployed because there were no sports going on, right. And he hit me in a weak moment. I go, what's involved? And next thing you know, we had a podcast.
We had no idea what was involved. Paul's like, I don't know. I'm like, neither do I.
We recorded on a Zoom, and Steve got it, and he just opened it up. He's like, I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, it's like the Borg. You guys are a hive mind, then.
Kind of. Okay. Kind of.
So that's what it came out of. It was basically because here's the question that I've written down somewhere, but one of the first things I was going to ask you is how, because I know my friend Steve, and even though he's not, retired, he's retired, but just getting the time, you do the Mammoth broadcasts. So where were you 12 hours from now or 12 hours ago?
12 hours ago, I was on site at Canada Life Arena in Winnipeg,
Right.
preparing to do the Mammoth game last night. Yeah.
And so that's like, and I know Winnipeg's not that far
Mhm.
away, but it's like it's a sort of a traveling life during the regular season. So I imagine it's difficult to pick times and spots where you can do it.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him and I'll say, okay, what are you? The 51's next for us, episode 51, and I'm like, what dates are you available? Well, I can't do that. I'm at the cabin. I've got a dentist this week, and well, I'm seeing friends. So they get whittled down to a couple of options, but we make the best of the time. We'll do the show basically in 2 passes. We'll do the feature guest interview, and then we'll do top and tails on it. And then Steve works his editing magic. So, I mean, we crank them out pretty fast. I mean, we're like within a day after we record that it's out, it's downloaded.
It really is well edited. I have to tell you, we listen to a lot of podcasts and there's not a lot of dry or dead or hums or haws, right? And it goes really quickly. One thing I did want to ask is about specific guests. Your guest list is very interesting, and it feels like it's one of those where it's, hey, let's call this person. Part of it, I think, is to support things like the incorrect belief that Tom Glavine was a better pitcher than Jack Morris. Don't want to go too there, but I heard that. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Do we remember Jack Morris at all here in the room?
Yeah, overrated.
Oh wow!
I think you had the wrong Jack Morris. So.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's it. Okay, so is it specific guest people people that you can call, or is it around events or things that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, it's basically connections in the industry. During travels, I'll either have worked with these people, or I'll see them at a rink, or I'll see them at the airport or whatever, and I just reach out and connect, and they're like, yeah, I would love to. So there's no strategy around events. We have done some in our early days. We would do a Grey Cup episode, we'd do a World Juniors episode and stuff, and we probably will get back to that. But when I was at TNT, we had to put it on the shelf for 3 years due to compliance issues that they wouldn't let me do it. But so we're back now, and we'll probably do some more themed ones. But just to get us back in rotation, we've just been doing colleagues in the business.
Getting a real Borg vibe here. Compliance, a lot of that happening. So I don't know. Yeah, we probably have time. And if you want to think about it, you can. But I would like from both of you at some point in the show, your favorite story that you told on the show, the one that you either said, "Oh my God, I can't wait to tell you this," and then you did, and it was like as good as it gets, or maybe it was a reaction to something, but the one that you really felt like you knocked it out of the park.
Ooh, I was going to tell a story that I haven't told on the show.
Well, we can do that too, Steve.
But I don't want to eat up too much of your time in the first segment.
No, we've got 3 minutes left.
Okay. So my favorite story that I have not told on the podcast, we are at Chicago Stadium and we want to watch the Bulls play. And Scotty Bowman's there. Me, Scotty Bowman, Tim Spellacy, maybe Bruce Buchanan, ITV, Phil LaPlante. We go to the game. We watch Jordan play at Chicago Stadium. There's like 1 minute left in the game. Scotty's like, I gotta go. I'm like, what do you mean you got to go? If the bus leaves, we're going to get, Chicago Stadium ready. Yeah. If the bus leaves, we're trapped. I got to go.
We're dead.
So yeah. And now it becomes apparent it's going to go to overtime. We got to go. We go out. We get on the bus. It's 108. They're going to overtime. I'm like, I'm going back in. This is ridiculous. So we all go back in. I don't know how we got back in, but we did. We watched the end of the game. Scotty, I got to go. Out we go to the bus. Then the freaking bus is sitting there for like 5-10 minutes. And we're sitting on the bus. Now, this is important. There's me and Scotty. And then behind us is Bucky, Bruce Buchanan, and Phil LaPlante. And over here, there's 2 guys wearing Blackhawks jerseys. And I'm like, oh, you guys like basketball too? Yeah, we really like hockey though. I'm like, the Hawks. And he goes, no, man, I like the Hawks, but the Canadians are the best. The Canadians are the best. Now, keep in mind, it's me and Scotty and the guy right beside him. And I'm like, which Canadians? He goes, oh, the late 70s Canadians were the best, man. Lemaire, Lafleur, Robinson, Shutt, Gainey, Jarvis, Lapointe. Dryden, Bunny LaRock, I even loved. He said, I loved everybody on that team. And I said, oh, no kidding. And as I say, no kidding, I get an elbow in my rib, like, shut up. And I said, who coached that team? And now he gives me the serious elbow, Scotty.
Right, you're getting hit now.
Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, Scotty Bowman, he was the best, man." And all I do, this won't play on radio, I just go like this with my head. I lean my head towards Scotty, and the guy looks and he goes, "Oh my God, it's Scotty Bowman." And I just went like this.
Yeah.
And after we got off and of course, this guy just talked Scotty's ear off,
forever.
right?
Yeah.
All the way back to the Hyatt on Wacker. And we get off the bus and he goes, "I owe you one, you son of a bitch." I said, "Not really. We're pretty even now with the rushing out for the bus and missing overtime. Night, Scotty."
I will tell you, Scotty Bowman's getting a lot of mention in our text line because people already want a new coach for the Oilers and are wondering if McDavid's, not quite what he used to be. We will get to that, I promise. But we're delighted that we will talk about the story that you liked that you told a little bit later on. But before we take a break, Paul, I wanted to ask you this. Do you have time to watch the World Series, or are you just on the go so much and you can't catch it all or even some?
If it's an off day or a travel day where I can get into the hotel early enough, I will definitely watch it. But like it's for me, I can't be appointment viewing. So yeah.
Are you
But I
going to
do
tell
have my
the story
phone.
of this morning in the car? He
Oh,
gets
yeah.
in the car.
Yeah.
Tell what
So
you
this
said.
morning we're driving out here, and I said to Steve, I go, "So is the World Series 1-1?" And he looks at me like I got like three heads. And I go, "I had a dream last night that the Dodgers won." And I said, "Is that 1-1 or 2-1?" And Steve goes, "Who pitched for the Dodgers?" And
In
I
your
go,
dream.
"Yeah, and
In
I'm in
your
your dream." And I go, "Yamamoto." And he goes, "No, that wasn't a dream." So like,
Honest to God, that is a true discussion we had this morning.
so like my mind is like scrambled eggs right now.
That's beautiful. Well, I think that's probably because in my life I've traveled where you're in one hotel one day and then another hotel on another day, and you lose track of what day it is.
You don't you have no
Yeah.
idea what day it is. And there's sometimes I don't even know what city I'm in. Like I'll roll over and look at the phone and it'll be like, "Oh, I'm at the Delta in Winnipeg."
I woke up in
yeah,
Philly one
yeah.
time and I divined not to get out of bed till I remembered where I was.
Yeah.
It was easily 30 minutes before I
Yeah.
remembered I
Yeah.
was in Philadelphia.
So thank goodness, like traveling with the team, you travel on a charter, right? So you just follow the herd. Follow the herd to the bus, follow the herd to the plane,
Good
follow
one.
the herd to the, right?
Good
So
one.
yeah.
Yeah, there.
And just hope you don't get on the wrong plane.
Right.
Tide.
Yes.
I know you guys want to go to break, but I think this is a perfect question to ask maybe before we go in, since we're on the topic of baseball. This is from Jay. So I have a question for the guys. Over their thoughts on the TV broadcast on what the whole Vladdy with the Jays, when he said, born ready, it just seemed like a perfect television moment where the cameraman went and showed the crowd. And do you think a part of that is the producer, or did Vladdy also know how to play it up to get the crowd going? Thank you, Jay.
So I'll say for sure those player interviews, especially when they're piped to the house, the stadium, the players know to play to the crowd like it happened, so, but that moment, that brilliant moment of TV magic was just a really amazing camera operator that just he was not told to do that.
No.
And he just did it in the reaction, and everybody in the control room high-fived, I guarantee it, because it was a magical moment.
Because if you were told to do it, it would take too long.
Well, no,
right?
that now you put the fear of God in the cameraman. He's like, I got to do what on
Right,
this in front of
right.
how many people watching? He
Yeah.
just felt the moment and grooved it and went with it. And that's in those moments like that is when you get TV magic.
Yeah.
It's going to sound weird, but there's like mind reading almost going on, right? When you get camera operators who really can read the director's mind and the
Mhm.
producer's mind, that helps you guys so much, right?
Yeah.
When you have and I'm going to go long, when you have a moment like the Joe Carter home run, do you just have to let it happen and not overproduce it, like the jumps and all of that, follow him around? Are there a bunch of decisions you have to make in that moment, or just one?
You're living the moment in real time as well too. That just from an experienced director will know, like, don't overcut it, right? You'll in that moment, especially with how many cameras Fox or Sportsnet would have, there would be a palette of camera options, but you want to make sure that you take the right one and that you don't overtake, right? You don't want to machine gun cut a moment like that. Appropriate amount of time on each shot, but also shot selection is critical.
Okay, good stuff. All right, it's 12:18. We are in conversation with both members of Inside the Truck podcast. We're going to get into the Oilers. We're going to get into the Jays. We're going to get into a lot of the television behind-the-scenes situations. We have rumors and more on the way. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Mr. Rooter meets a ghost. One plunge, two, and three. A toilet clogged with a ghost? Man, I love plumbing. You're free now.
I will never find peace. The clog is fixed, yes, but I have never trusted the sump pump.
No problemo. I can fix that. Now go to the light, you little scamp.
Thank you, Mr. Ruda.
To resolve your unfinished plumbing business, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter. Whoa, who turned off all the lights?
Experience the new charcoal menu at Booster Juice.
Charcoal menu?
Introducing the Eclipse Smoothie, Blackout Booster Mixer, and Midnight Booster Ball.
Where's that voice coming from?
Dark and delicious, made with activated charcoal.
Can we please turn the lights back on?
Sorry, I'm just excited about the new charcoal menu.
Wow, that is good.
Right?
Available now, only at Booster Juice.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Carve out for a cause at the Jason Krueger Pizza Pig Out, presented by GS Construction. Thursday, November 6th at the Canadian Ice House, indulge in unlimited pizza from amazing local pizzerias while you help raise some dough for Kids Sport. Then vote for your favorite slice to help crown the People's Choice Award winners. Tickets to join Edmonton's biggest and best adult pizza party are just $30. Head to JasonKruegerPizzaPigout.com for more details and to buy tickets.
For all things golf carts, it's the Golf Cart People. Their certified techs provide expert service from maintenance to custom upgrades. Customers can explore the sales floor for new and used Club Car, Yamaha, and E-Z-Go models. The Golf Cart People stock a wide variety of parts and accessories to keep every ride in top shape and offer convenient rentals for tournaments, weddings, and festivals. Trusted for sales, service, parts, accessories, and rentals since 1997. Visit the Golf Cart People at golfcartpeople.com, your complete golf cart solution.
I hear the train coming.
Backed by popular demand, Folsom Prison Revisited. The story of one of the greatest concerts in history returns to the Jubilee Auditorium November 22nd. Step back in time before, during, and after this iconic Johnny Cash performance. You'll relive an event that changed the life of Johnny Cash and changed music forever. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca and the Jubilee box office. Brought to you by Stars and Stories Live.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check it out. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. It's time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. All right. Has Steve met Tusky?
Not in person, no. I think he has a social media crush with him, but he hasn't met him.
Right. I didn't lose any sleep over not meeting Tusky yet.
You know, if you put a certain amount of facial hair on him and then some, he looks a little like Tusky.
You know what? I've actually had the privilege of having my picture taken with Tusky, and you're right. Especially when you put your arm around him and give him a hug. It feels just like Tusky.
Yeah. I started to bring that up and I hadn't planned to, but the moment was right. Kmart says, love the pod, guys. Question, how much sway does the team have over its local rights holder in terms of broadcast tone? Example, the writ comes down from above to ensure that nobody rips too hard on Evan Bouchard, as an example, in using Edmonton as an example.
For sure. I mean, there's a relationship between the team and the broadcaster, whether it be like us in Utah, we're our broadcaster. We are a team-owned broadcast. We don't work for a network. We're over the air with a network of script sports stations in the United States, but the team owns us. So, right. But like, even if you talk, let's talk Canada, Sportsnet. I mean, Sportsnet will have a relationship with the Oilers, and whether that be the regional package or the national package. And there's meetings, there's constant meetings. I mean, at the end of the day, the broadcast really should be a 2 or 3 hour infomercial for your product, right?
Yeah.
You want people to watch. You want them to make it, you want it to make it must see TV. So I would say that, but there's the line that you cross about becoming, impartial or whatever, a homer, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But yeah, no, there's massive sway and influence.
I was just going to say, so where's the line? Like, you're going to promote Logan Cooley and Nick Schmaltz, but at what point do you say on a Mammoth broadcast, oh, that was just a really bad play? Or do you never do that?
No, you do it, but you don't do it all. You don't do it all the time. Whenever, let's say, the puck goes in the net against Utah, you can frame it any way. You can frame it was a great shot by the visiting player, or it was a bad play by our player, or so you can walk that line. But when there's something glaringly obvious, let's say Dominic Moore, our analyst, he has to call it the way that it is, right? The viewer, it's TV, you can see what's going on.
If he's got a conscience, yeah.
When Howie Meeker, either in his book or maybe an interview that I watched, he talked about if he was going to be critical of Frank Mahovlich, he would also find something in the period to compliment Frank Mahovlich.
Yep.
And he said the reason he did that was because he had been a player, and he didn't, criticism just like is wildly unfair, and in a way it is. But you also want to educate the fans, right?
Yep.
And so that's how he did it. And I think one of the problems that modern broadcasters have, and I'll use the Oilers as an example, is back in the day, there was a bunch of games on radio, and then you'd sometimes get an ITV broadcast, but not all of them. Now every broadcast is on, people watch, and they get, I think they just get used to a certain style. And so when the team isn't doing well, there's rage, and it's not being met by the broadcaster. And I think that's where the disconnect is. Is that fair?
I think that's accurate. You're right. Like, they'd play a game in Hartford, they'd play a game in Pittsburgh. Those would be on the radio with Rod Phillips.
Right.
And then we'd do a game in New Jersey. And so you'd only see that one game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's fair, because the more you see, the more you know. And the more you know, sometimes the angrier you get. And it's a lot easier to play off when you're just listening to the radio.
And the one thing you have to factor in now versus what you did back then is social media.
Right.
Social media stokes all kinds of viewers on both sides of the fence, right? Like we right now in Utah, we're having a mammoth, pardon the pun, battle with Colorado.
I will not pardon
because
the pun.
their lacrosse team is also the mammoth.
Okay.
And their mascot is also a mammoth with big tusks, and it's also got a nickname that ends in Y, right? So they're like, you stole this,
Muskie?
whatever. Yeah, right. Husky or Dusky or whatever, Husky, whatever. So now whenever we play Colorado, like, it's already an instant rivalry. We've only played on this one season because our fan bases have gotten into it on social media.
I love it.
So that didn't happen back in those days,
No.
right? If the Oil played in Hartford and it wasn't on TV, it was on the radio, not a lot of people are talking about it.
No,
right? You're looking at the box score and then reacting to that.
Correct.
Ian from Leduc says, holy, Steve looks way different than I thought he would. I can't explain how he looked in my head, but the voice does not match the face.
I
don't know what that means.
Oh, it's an insult. It's got to be an insult.
No.
It's a compliment?
You're a good looking fella.
No, I don't think that was a compliment.
No,
I need a follow-up.
I think you sound weak voiced, but now he sees you as strong.
No, I need a follow-up message that whether that was a compliment or an insult, and then that'll determine how I respond.
Oh, damn.
I have another question here, and I can actually answer your question.
He said, I can't explain how he looked in my head, but the voice does not match the face. That's a compliment, not an insult.
Okay, great.
I didn't read that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Because I wanted to verbalize some abuse, and I did. So that's a little look into the kimono of radio. I didn't want to report on myself. Thanks, Josh.
Oh my God.
But I had to.
There's another question in here though. Ask the boys on their thoughts on HD and 4K cameras plus fiber feed versus satellite.
That's you.
Well, the newer technology is always the better technology. So the only problem when you get in technology is changing by the minute, let alone the day or the hour. But the problem is that not all facilities, all broadcasters, all networks can take all of it. So if you give you an example, like in Boston, the Bruins run a 4K game camera. So the main play follow is 4K. Well, we can't take a feed of that when we're in there because make it sound simple. It's like apples to oranges, right? So a lot of times when we would go in there, especially in the playoffs, we would have to put up our own game camera. So now you're doubling down because not everybody's on board with that same technology. So I'm a big fan of technology, but used appropriately and accordingly, like not just forced at you just because it's new and we got to use it.
The Athletic did a poll, and the Mammoth were, I think, number 3, which is great. I mean, out of 32 teams, that you must have been very complimented by that.
Yeah, and that was a national poll.
Yeah,
which kind of blew us away in Utah because we're like, we're a new team, new market. We're like, is anybody even in Utah watching?
Which ranked your broadcast number 3 of all the local broadcasts, regional broadcasts in the NHL.
Yeah. So that was quite a feather in our cap, especially, being our first year. Everybody on our team came together we were all from somewhere else. Nobody really knew anybody. Nobody worked with anybody. The only relationship that we had was our play-by-play guy, Matt McConnell, worked with our producer, Doug Foster. Everybody else was new.
Right.
But it was really weird. Like, they assembled really good people together and we all meshed right away. And something special really happened last year, especially since from a look standpoint, we inherited the Arizona Coyotes. Their broadcasts were taken over by the NHL when the Arizona owners walked away from it.
Right.
So we had like an ad hoc graphics that were slapped together by the NHL and stuff. So we didn't think we thought we'd be 32nd. So to finish third was good. What that speaks volumes to, though, is just is that we were doing a broadcast for people that were seeing a hockey game for the first time, and we were doing it for general managers that were watching across, North America. And we walked that fine line of being able not to insult either side of that fence.
And that brings up a fine line that I want to talk about, and I'm genuinely curious because it's in my life all the time, and I would like to hear how other people try to handle this. So Paul Hemming, Steve Lansky joining us from Inside the Truck podcast. When I watch the Seattle broadcast, Allison L does a really good job of incorporating what I call analytics, advanced statistics, but she does it in a way that doesn't overwhelm me. I'm not a mathlete. I'm not. And I do use, in the Athletic articles I write, I do use analytics, but on the air I don't, because I just don't feel I can get there. I don't have the expertise of Allison L. So for you have to walk a fine line. You have an audience that has newness to it, maybe even new to the sport, and then you've got the people who are going to be watching you, and they know everything you know and more, maybe GMs or whatever. So how do you walk that fine line between being wide and getting everybody interested, and then also being able to speak to somebody who's had decades of watching the sport?
Like I said, don't insult either side of it. So don't dumb it down to a point where you're delivering the product in like a 101 version. Just casually, you can just mention, like, if the whistle goes and it was an offside, just like, Jordan or whatever, Logan Cooley was in over the line, that, or whatever. Just like, you can just casually mention little nuggets that will help the person that doesn't know understand why the whistle just stopped play. And then also the GMs or whatever, that level, just like, you can let it go. So it's casual. It's entertainment. It's entertaining. It's not coaching 101. And certainly analytics for me, my thought on that, Al, is just, if it enhances the storyline of the game or that moment, it's good. When people watch the game, when they just open their beer and sit on the couch and watch, they don't want to feel like they signed up for a math class.
Right.
If there's something like, I'll give you an example. Logan Cooley had a natural hat trick in our first game of the road trip this year in St. Louis, 3 goals in the first period. And in front of me, I have a stats screen full of information from the NHL that I can quickly refer to. And one of them is offensive possession zone time.
Right.
And I just wanted to know, he's got a hat trick. How long has he had the puck in the offensive zone?
Perfect. Yes.
6 seconds.
Wow.
So I relay that to Dominic Moore, and all of a sudden now it's all over social media for Mammoth. It's like, this guy is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's an executioner. 3 goals on 6 seconds of possession time.
That's crazy.
So that kind of stuff, that is what I feel like. But if you're just saying rifling off a whole bunch of numbers just because you have them, I think you lose the viewers at that point.
But you know what I want to know? Why did that come into your head? Why did you think of that at that moment?
because I was in my mind, because I'm directing the cameras, I'm like, I haven't really seen 92 in the attack zone very much, but he's got 3 goals.
But it would be your sports experience and your life experience and the way you think. There's all those components, right? That the guy at home doesn't factor in. But like, it can be on that screen. If you don't look over and go, wow, that's relevant, we're never seeing that at home.
Yeah.
And the other thing about it is that I remember when baseball got heavily into analytics. And so you'd be, here's Eddie Murray. He's got 13 victory important RBI this year. And I'm going, I don't care. That I don't even know what that means.
Right.
And there is and I haven't seen anybody do it, honestly, because I think it's hard to do. But baseball's a little easier because you got so many minutes between pitches, seconds between pitches now. So you have a lot of opportunity to impart information. But you said it has to be relevant, right? And that's the key. And sometimes I think we get away from that.
And that was my point, is that if you're not thinking like a fan, which you were, what would I want to know if I was at home? Oh, I'd want to know that. Hey, Dom, here's what happened.
Yeah.
You've got to, I will die thinking that.
Yeah.
If you don't think like a fan at some component when you're on the front bench of the truck, you're not doing it right.
Right. And that's a great point. Until you mentioned that, I never thought, well, what made me want to look at that?
That's what I'm here for, dude.
Because I had to scroll down a couple of pages of stats to get to offensive zone possession time. And there he was at the bottom, 6 seconds. He had a natural hat trick.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, that is great television. There's no other word for it.
Yep.
I like it. All right. It's 12:35. We're going to take a break on time this time. I mean, we got to do it at least once, and then we'll move on to the normal. We're with Steve Lansky and Paul Hemming from Inside the Truck Podcast. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress, guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
Fall into savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers presents a massive 4-day unreserved heavy equipment auction at their Nisku site October 29th to November 1st, 8 a.m. Live online bidding. On offer core construction heavy equipment, trucks, trailers, nearly every industry covered, including over $20 million of ag equipment. Register to bid online. It's free. Priority bids, timed auction, on-site viewing on now. Demand for equipment is strong. Contact your local territory manager to consign. More at rbauction.com.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes!
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about! Yeah!
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think you just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Stradlin. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours 1-833-347-7678.
When it comes to choosing a hair clinic, the difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. Transforming how you feel about yourself is a very personal experience, and I'll work directly with you every step of the way.
Physicians come from all over the world to learn from Dr. Elliott.
When your personal goal is to help other people achieve theirs, you must deeply understand the latest treatments.
Want to feel confident and comfortable? The difference is in the doctor.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott at drvanceelliott.com.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Fall into savings with 0% financing on all 2025 Buick and GMC vehicles. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com for details. Lots of questions coming in. Lowetide, have you seen the Netflix documentary Who Killed the Montreal Expos? Must-see TV from West Side Don. I have not yet, but I know Steve has. What was your take on it?
Really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much touched every facet. The thing to me about documentaries is if you don't ask all the way around the clock face, everybody in the circle, you haven't done it a service. And they did. And the answer is about 7 things killed the Montreal Expos, like everything.
David Sampson and Jeff Loria in there?
You know, I believe they were. Okay. Yes. If you don't like David Sampson now, you may not in the future either.
I knew the Expos were gone when they were worried that Larry Walker would accept his a qualifying offer. So they didn't offer him a qualifying offer. They just let him go to free agency. And like the qualifying offer is nothing. It's not even a percentage of what he was going to earn. And they were afraid he was going to accept it. And I thought that's some addled thinking. But if you are not thinking about the team on the field and you're thinking about the long range, then that does make sense.
This is what you and I have talked about. Should these people be owning sports teams?
Yes.
Some shouldn't. Some maybe should, but a lot shouldn't.
Mark asked this question. I'm going to ask both of you, but I'll begin with you, Paul. What are your thoughts on players and coaches being mic'd up during the broadcast?
It's great content for social media and stuff. It's really tough to get in the broadcast because a lot of times it's language that you can't use. And then a lot of times it might be, game planning, right? Strategy stuff, which you can't use either. So then what you end up with, if it's a coach, it's like, let's go boys, Connors lines up or whatever, right? Like, and that's it. And at the end of the day, the fan today is way too advanced to listen to that. But if you're putting together, like, say we have a documentary series on our team that our social media, it's called Fresh Ice. And so that all that stuff can be used and you can bleep out those words and all that. And so I think it's great. In game, in a live broadcast, it's really tough to get in, especially with the speed of the game. There's just not enough time on stoppages to get that in.
You had that problem with doing the CFL broadcast where you couldn't run stuff unless it was agreed to. And that made that Jason Moss never got on the air.
That's correct. And the one I remember vividly was Travis Lulay got tackled, in BC. And he went down and he went, oh, that can go to air. No problem. Oh, that hurts. That can go to air. Oh, my arm. That can't go to air.
Oh, wow.
Now we know what. So I knew that. And of course, you mute it, but you really don't want to because, like, I get it, dude. You're rolling around. It hurts. but we can't, Paul's right. You can't use anything with any meat.
Right.
And the CFL is paranoid a good word, Paul, for the people who work in the CFL?
Because they think that all the other teams' coaches are watching the feed or go, oh, it's his arm. Let's target his arm.
Oh my God. John Huffnagel and Dave Dickinson were the two the two most paranoid people I've ever met in my life. They would phone the room. Why are you using that? Oh yeah. Dude.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That, it's funny because Hufnagel was so thorough. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
But I would have thought that Wally Bono would have been the guy who was,
nothing. I think Wally was maybe out during those years, but
Okay.
Dickinson was just how do you shorten PITA? You can figure out what
Yeah.
that means. Yeah.
I think Bono probably would have rushed the truck,
Oh, probably.
in
Yeah,
a fury.
probably.
Can the NHL make digital board ads better somehow? Would love it if they left them not animated during play. Well, I think there are, like, if I'm watching an Oilers broadcast in an away game, there'll be some of the billboards will be artificially implanted from the Oilers broadcast that aren't actually there on the ice. And I think that's what people are worried. The puck sometimes gets lost in the logo.
We're talking about the ice surface, or we're talking about the boards, because those are two different things.
Well, the boards, but also the logo. Sometimes you miss where the puck is because it's in that mushy area.
And that's a technical term, the mushy area,
Okay,
right?
all right,
The
here
mushy,
we go.
get that
Bunch
puck out of the mushy area. I've heard you yell that in the truck.
Mushy area TM.
This is the TV people. They start ripping on the radio people.
Mushy area TM, right? The area where the digital logo has been inserted. Is that what you meant? That
Yes.
area? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just wonder, I think it's better now than it was maybe a couple of years ago. But a couple of years ago, it did sort of interrupt my viewing, and I didn't like that.
They shouldn't cycle when the puck is near them. And the first time I ever saw that was you and I'd be at like major golf championship events.
Right.
And when the players walk up to the green, they stop cycling the leaderboard.
Right.
Because it's distracting to the players. It's the first time I ever saw it. I'm like, oh, that leaderboard's broken. They're like, no, they don't cycle it when they're on the green. Well, they should be doing the same thing. When the puck's in the end, don't cycle that advertisement. Live with it. When the puck goes to the other end, then if you need to cycle it to something else, it's really not that hard.
So those are on a 30-second playlist.
Then change it.
Yeah. So
Change it.
And there's no rhyme or reason as to
God forbid there's somebody sitting there.
Yeah. But I'm kind of agree. I'm on Team Al on this one because when they first came out, I hated them.
Yeah, they're bad.
Couldn't stand them. But I find now, I don't even notice them, which I'm sure the sponsors don't want to hear. But I don't even notice them.
We're just so, if you watch hockey for a long time, you're just so focused on the puck. I remember years ago, I was talking to a young lady who'd married into my family, very sweet person, but was not familiar with hockey. And the puck was along the boards closest to the viewer, and we didn't see it. We didn't see where the puck was. And she said, "Where's the puck?" I said, "It's right there." She said, "How do you know?" I said, "Because there's 7 guys there, and they're not there just they're not getting candy. It's that they're fighting for the puck." And she goes, "This game is crazy." And I said, "Well, ideally you'd be able to have a camera from the other side, but we're so sensitive to the San Jose broadcast. I think I get vertigo because they're higher. The camera is higher than anywhere else.
Probably.
And that sounds like such a small thing, but to the viewer, I know San Jose. I got it. I better take some, whatever, because I'm going to feel like I'm falling off my chair.
Not a small thing. There's a math, right? Where they figured out where the lead camera should be. There's a math component or whatever.
All the analytics on it. And where that comes in, and the only reason I know that is because I have done many outdoor games. And when you're doing a hockey game, say in a football stadium or a baseball stadium, the first thing you do is you determine where's the game camera going to go. And they get out their little measuring device that goes to where center ice is going to be at Fenway Park. And you have to pick exactly the level for the camera.
It's a degrees or it's a feet to the center.
Degrees.
It's degrees.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought
Yeah.
you told me.
It's the trajectory from where the game camera.
Think about that. Yeah. San Jose does not fit in the trajectory.
And that's the thing is until they get a new rink in San Jose, it'll never be the same because they can't retrofit it. They'd have to rip the arena apart to do that.
And it's funny because San Jose, I don't know how they've been doing since they've been bad, but they always filled the arena. They always had, somebody said they had exactly 18,369 fans, but they whatever their model was worked. And, Winnipeg Jets have, I think, similar kind of model, and you sort of have to respect that, but the camera's got to move.
And Vancouver's brutal too, right?
Yeah, it's worse now than it was because when they first started doing games there, the Griffiths family gave up their private box at center ice to make the main camera platform. So it used to be the best in the business. Then the new owners came in and they wanted their box back, so they took their box back and then they kicked the cameras up to the upper deck, and they basically literally made a metal decking that the camera guys all have to sit on and be harnessed to, and they're like looking down just like they're watching from the top of the CN Tower in to run the game. So it's much worse now than it was.
Is that the one where they have to undergo training before they can run that camera?
Yeah, they have to undergo a 30-minute, like $100 training course to be able to go on there and run the camera. Yeah.
They're paying $100?
Well,
think about that, though. Think about that.
Yeah.
That's messed.
Yeah.
One thing I dreamed of. I'm gonna go all nerd on
Was
you.
it the Yamamoto pitched in game 2?
No, geez, could they get that guy? He's going to be back in game 5, so you got to win the next 2. So anyway, it's. I'm watching one day years ago. I don't know how many years ago. I'm watching a football game, and there's a camera that's right over the quarterback, and there you can see what's happening. And I'd never seen it before. Now it's on all the time. We don't even think about it. But I thought, damn, Sam. Anyway, that's what I'd like to have for hockey. McDavid's flying up the ice, the camera's on him, he's but they did it a couple of times and it kept getting hit by a puck or falling down, and it was a hazard, right? And so I guess that technology will never happen.
Go ahead. Those cameras that fly over the ice like that, they're a cable camera system, Ariel, that are they call it a 4-pointer. So there's 4 points where they rig to, and it creates a big X, and they fly, in layman's terms, up and down, left and right in that X. But you can't really do it inside an NHL venue because you've got the netting that goes up to protect the end zones, and then you've got the new massive scoreboards that drop down.
Right.
So what you've essentially done is you've eliminated the airspace over.
Oh, damn it!
But drones can do that. And we're now at the part of technology with drones where like a drone is basically like the size of your coffee cup, right?
So it wouldn't be distracting.
It would not be distracting, and it wouldn't even. It would if a drone. And the one thing that when drones first came out, every league was like, nope, we're not doing that because it could crash into the crowd, it could kill somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, like literally, drones are so small and so light that if it actually fell, say, on Connor McDavid and hit him in the shoulder pad and land on the ice, he wouldn't even feel it.
Really? Wow.
So we just have to get the leagues to adjust their antiquated thinking to go, okay, because then you could have that shot that you see on football, Al, you could have it on hockey every night.
Love it.
But there's a point about hockey that's different than football. As in football, you know where the play is going to start. It's going to start right here. So you can set cable cam up right here. Well, in hockey, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Evan Bouchard's got the puck. He's moving up the ice. God knows what happens to that puck in the next 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And the camera has to swing around, and you're watching TV and you're going, whoa, that's gone like a whole 180. And now it's coming back the other way. That's really disorienting for the viewer.
Yeah. And I sound like an old man now, but one thing that I would love is a promise by everybody who broadcasts television to stick with the game that you're on. I used to love back when they would go out of town, like Greg Polis would score in Pittsburgh, and I'd be thrilled that I'm seeing it. We're going to Pittsburgh now, and then they'd show the old Penguins uniform, the blue one that nobody talks about anymore, and Polis would score, and I'm like, I just saw a goal from the outer town, and I was thrilled by it. Now I feel like it's too much of a feature, and I don't get enough of the game I'm watching.
In an Oilers game or in a Stanley Cup playoff game?
Oh, I would say in an Oilers game. The Stanley Cup playoff game, I want to know right away.
Okay, so we're on exactly the same boat. With the Oilers game, I couldn't give a rat's rear end what's happening in the other game. In the Stanley Cup playoffs, they don't do it enough. We used to have a mandate. Oh, my God. I would sit in the back of the truck. Goal in Montreal. Oh, goal in Montreal. Got it on the whistle. Cue it up. Where is it? Red. Got it. It's on a 4. Boom. And that used to happen with regularity. There was a person assigned to it.
Yeah.
But now not so much.
It would become a competition to see who could get the goal in the fastest.
That's correct.
Right?
That's correct.
If both networks were on the air in the first round, like when I worked at TSN, it would be like a goal was scored. The mandate was get to it immediately.
That's correct. Did TSN get it first, or did Hockey Night get it first? The goal in Pittsburgh. That's exactly right.
Paul Hemming, Steve Lansky joining us from Inside the Truck podcast. I wanted to mention this earlier, but I've got a little time before the break, so I want to mention it now. You, sir, have fallen ass over a teakettle into a fascinating and interesting team. It must be a blast to actually broadcast these games because they're very talented and they're going well.
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, we have such a young team. Like our top players are all like 20, 21, 22 years of age. So if we can keep them all together, this team's going to be really good for a long time. They're just, the skill is unbelievable. Logan Cooley, Dylan Gunther, Nick Schmaltz. Even on the back end, we've got a rookie playing in our top pairing, Dmitry Simashev. He's an NHL rookie. He did play in the KHL before he came over. But this kid, he's young and he's massive, and he can skate like the wind and move the puck and fire it like, not like Evan Bouchard, but Evan Bouchard-esque.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch every night. And the coaching has a lot to do with it. Andre Torini is an amazing coach. He's a player's coach. He's an honest coach. If you ever listen to his press conferences, it's not the canned answers that you're getting. Like when he's asked a tough question, he'll give you a legitimate answer. And it's from the top of organization to the bottom. It's just a really great vibe. It's a great experience. And like you said, very lucky to be there.
Paul mentioned 4 specific Utah Mammoth. You may now mention 4 other.
Utah Mammoth?
Yeah.
Why don't you go to break and I'll get back to you on that real soon. Is that fair?
That's how interesting this team is, because I watched the Utah Mammoth and I'm like, holy hell, that guy's good. What's his name? They've got I have a feeling that it's probably good we're not doing this show the day after the game, because the comments towards you, Paul, would be a lot different. They're good. They're very, very good, and they beat good teams too. So that for me must be an absolute, because you always have stories, but when there's stories about winning and when there's stories about young players, like 6 seconds on 3 goals, you everything is sort of exciting and new and fresh and worth reporting.
Yeah. I've been doing this for a long time, and to see the skill level of these guys like Dylan Gunther and Logan Cooley and what they can do in the milliseconds that they have to do with the puck is like, it's phenomenal. Like Dominic Moore is our analyst, and he played in the league for a long time, with great teams. And he is like mind blown with what our guys are able to execute. Like, they kind of got lost in Arizona for a little while, and nobody's really kind of caught on to Utah, but they will soon become household names for sure.
All right, we're going to talk about what excites these gentlemen about broadcasting now and what the future looks like on both broadcasting and Inside the Truck as well podcast. And we're going to spend a little time on the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Blue Jays as well, straight ahead. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Time for an update with Sam.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street. That's Custom Floors Inc. Game 3 of the World Series tonight as the Blue Jays take on the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA as they look to take a 2-1 lead. Max Scherzer starting for Toronto with the first pitch at 6 p.m. Only 2 games in the NHL tonight as the Senators host the Bruins and the Blues head to Pittsburgh. Monday Night Football has the Commanders facing the Chiefs in Kansas City. Kickoff at 6:15. And off the field, Tyler Lockett has signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Lockett had signed a 1-year deal with the Titans in April and had 70 yards on 10 catches before being released last week. Raptors on the road tonight as they take on Wemby and the Spurs. Tip-off at 6. 10 other games on the hardwood, including the Cavaliers heading to Detroit, the Magic and 76ers facing off in Philly. The Thunder roll into Dallas, and the Timberwolves and Nuggets go head-to-head. In the CFL, the Owlettes have signed fullback David Dallaire to a 3-year contract, and the 2027 Grey Cup host city has been named, with Regina getting the honors. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll continue this special edition of the Lowdown with Lowetide and be joined by Jason Krueger from The Jason Krueger Show. And this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Monopoly Double Play is back at McDonald's. So let's practice winning. You just won 25 grand and go.
Yes.
I said 25 grand.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Much better. Okay, now you just won a brand new Chevrolet Corvette. I think you just fainted. Impressive. Feel like a winner on pack and in-app. Monopoly Double Play is back. While supplies last, 1 in 5 chances to win game piece prizes at outset. Chances to win draw prizes depend on number of entries in each draw. Cash prizes payable by e-transfer. See rules in-app.
Seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Fall in the savings at Wolf GMC Buick. For a very limited time, get 0% on every 2025 Buick and GMC, including the all-new Buick Envista, the Encore, Envision, and Enclave. For the GMCs, 0% on 2025s like the Sierra Half-Ton, Sierra HD, even the Yukons. Get 0% on all 2025s. Plus, get up to 84 months on the GMC Sierra Half-Ton Crew Cab. But like the leaves, these deals won't last long. Get into Wolf GMC Buick now.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Hi, I'm Al Hamilton, first captain of the Edmonton Oilers. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men, and here in Alberta, we're fighting back. This November, every dollar you give helps the Prostate Cancer Centre fund early detection, testing, and life-saving support right here in our province. Let's keep it in Alberta for our fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to start your men's health fundraiser or donate today. Together, we can look after the men in our community. Thank you for your support.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Strudley. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from Los Angeles and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters, you can attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Fernando Pisani, Kelly Buckberger, Ron Lowe, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and more. There's still time to get in on every hockey fan's dream cruise. Book now and save $500 per couple. The Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. Price start at just $23.99. Part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton. Call 1-833-347-7678. Call now to book and save $500 per cabin when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. That's cast.tours, 1-833-347-7678.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Fall into savings with 0% financing on all 2025 Buick and GMC vehicles. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com for details. We, of course, are talking to both members of Inside the Truck podcast for the next hour. Steve Lansky and Paul Hemming joining us. And you are sending us lots of great stuff, and we appreciate it. And I got a question for Steve in a second. But first of all, Josh, a question for you. People are saying that it looks like I have a mohawk on the YouTube channel. I blame you.
Yeah, well, every head must bow, every tongue must confess. It looks like you have a mohawk today on the YouTube stream.
What's going on?
I don't know. Did you style your hair today, or did you just hit it with the blow dryer a little bit and go? Anyways, I'm good to go out.
I watched
this is an important day for the lowdown, right?
I did open up the window on the way to work.
Well, that was your mistake right there. You know what?
But I blame you. Are you using AI to make me look different? I think you are.
Yeah, because I can totally do that right now with all the work I'm doing.
I don't even know what AI is, but I blame AI.
It's called artificial intelligence
for everything. You know?
But I don't know what you want from me. I think you just didn't come prepared.
I blame AI
for Inside the Lowdown with Lansky and Hemming.
Well, look at these guys. Their hair is perfect. Of course, they came from the hotel and Ubered over, and you know, you when you come to Canada, because I'm assuming you're in the States a lot, do you go immediately to your favorite Canadian spots for coffee and
I do.
Danish and stuff like
I
that?
do. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was really upset in Winnipeg, downtown Winnipeg, as I found out yesterday. Nothing is open on Sunday in downtown Winnipeg. I went to I on Google Mapped and I walked to 4 different Tim Hortons for my Timmy Game Day Timmys in Canada, which is a ritual.
Yes.
All 4 were closed. Lights were on, door was locked, nobody was in there.
That sucks.
I'm like,
Any chance they saw you coming?
Yeah,
that
could be. That could be.
You know
But
what I
no,
love most about what you just did?
Yeah.
When you said, and I found out, and you went like this, you couldn't remember whether it was yesterday or not.
Yeah.
That's how much you've been doing.
I'm like,
I
what
saw
day
you
is it?
do it.
Yeah.
What date was that? Yeah.
And the other one too is I have a passion for, and you can't get them in the United States, is the Twizzlers that are not the spirally ones. They're nibs,
the
full-length
long
nibs.
ones, the full bore. Those are so good.
So good. Can't even get them in America.
Top drawer.
I spent at least $30 or $40 on them, throw in my luggage and take them home. So yeah, there are things that I'd love to come back to Canada.
Not the red ones, though.
Yeah, the red ones.
Oh, the red ones are the best
red
ones.
long nibs.
Oh,
the
my
black
God.
ones you can have one or two, but the red ones, you
crush
know.
a bag of those.
Oh, my
so good.
God.
I have to stop eating those because I eat too much and then I'm
Right.
because I don't think they're made out of vegetables.
No, I think it's wax actually. But it's so good.
The best wax ever. Please ask Steve Lancey if he could do something about stopping them from putting the current lineup once the play is started. That should be scrolling on the screen during the anthem, and it'll get more eyes on the screen then. So, Steve, you want to disrupt hockey by putting stuff up during the anthem, do you?
First of all, we didn't even talk about this. I would play the anthem before they go on the air. That would be what I would do. But anthem is sacred, so you can't put anything over the anthem. I don't know what the solution is to that, because now that they can split the screen and put rosters and score bugs at the top, and all bets are off. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. Tide, your do makes you look like you should have a pipe and smoking jacket on. So
That's
I'm Perry Como.
That's right.
Okay. I
Perry
like it.
Como. Who knows who Perry Como is?
I don't care.
Young guy puts his hand up.
Would it be okay for Louis to call Jake by his name on the broadcast? I feel like it would be endearing to viewers from Ribs. I think that would be okay. I know he's interviewed him before and they hugged at the end of the interview and I loved it.
Isn't that funny? I watched the stretch pass from Bouchard last night on the highlights, and he said Jake DeBrusk. And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. How should he refer to him? Isn't that funny? I thought of that this morning. I think you can call him Jake.
I mean, I think it must be unusual or not natural for him to call him Jake
and
DeBrusk.
That's why he paused. He was Jake DeBrusk. Like there was a little pause in there.
Yeah.
I would say, no, we're at the point where you can just say Jake, and we got to understand that.
Do you guys know if it's the Oilers have 20 or 23 private cameras that do all the work, player per shift, watching that individual player that they can go back and look at?
I don't know a thing, but Paul knows everything. So go.
Oh, well, they have ISO cameras, so they'll maybe on a Saturday night big show, they'll have maybe a couple of ISO cameras that they'll put on players, but typically it's like one, and so you'll either pick one guy per line to get you sort of off the dock, and then depending on how this game unfolds, you can move that camera around to ISO players, but not a camera dedicated to every player. On a regular season NHL broadcast. No.
So, like, if Leon's going to score his 400th, that's the ISO camera until he scores his 400th, and maybe you'd go on to somebody else.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's a producer deciding all that, or in concert, you guys?
It's a production decision.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll even do that, like with Logan Cooley in St. Louis. He popped 2 like right out of the gate, and so we didn't have him in ISO on that line. We had Dylan Gunther, so we moved it over to him because when he gets the hat trick, you want to have him in ISO.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, it's a dice roll, right? It's always going to be a dice roll until you have 20 cameras.
Yeah,
but that's why you're paid money.
You plan that stuff in advance.
I have a question now that may or may not make Steve uncomfortable because I've talked about it before, but one of the things that I don't have an answer to, and it is a little bit unusual for somebody who's my age, who's been in broadcasting 45 years, to bring it up. But sometimes in a broadcast, everybody stays for a long, long time. Not in your case because it's brand new, but on a national level, sometimes somebody will be in I'm not going to mention names, Steve. Somebody will be in a spot for a long, long time and it gets stale. And in Canada, unusually, we don't seem to care about whether the individual is stale or They're no longer giving pertinent information, or they're too far from the game. The individual who has that tenure gains power, and it becomes more difficult to replace them. Is there a way on a national level to freshen it without like getting rid of people?
So I won't say a name either, but I'm assuming the initials are RM, and he wrote an erroneous story about me in chapter 10 of his book. Would I be close on that
Well,
one?
I mean, you appear to have it surrounded.
Right. But you never know. It could squeak through my legs. I think in Canada, and Paul, you stop me when you think I'm wrong. I think there's a tendency at some point to get bigger than the show. Don Cherry did it. This guy is doing it. I think Dave Hodge might have done it and then got himself out of it pretty quickly by throwing his pencil. I think there's that tendency in Canada, and I think the States has that a little more buttoned down, because like the Don Cherry thing and all that stuff never would have happened under Ralph Mellanby, because Ralph Mellanby was... Did you work for Ralph? Was Ralph there when you were there at hockey night? He was gone.
Yeah.
Ralph was, don't dick with me or I will cut you a new one. And that just doesn't happen so much anymore.
I feel like, I remember when I first saw Anson Carter.
Yep.
And he's better now. He's better than he was when he started, and he was good when he started.
Mm-hmm.
How can we get there?
Yeah, good question. So how do you get better? How would you get better doing this? How would I get better doing this? How would Paul get better doing this sitting here? Well, he'd do it repeatedly, but at some point there has to be valid constructional feedback. Is that what I was going to say?
Fair, 100%.
So who's given that feedback? John Shannon gave some pretty good feedback. He also gave some pretty bad feedback. Ralph was really harsh with his feedback. Don't do that again, kid. Okay, got it. Not doing that again. So without that feedback and without that leash, rein, whatever word you want to call it, it's not going to change, because people will do what they're allowed to do. And that's what's happened.
Ray Ferraro did the last night's game, Vancouver game. A decade ago, I recognized that he was brilliant because he just says it. There was a play by, and I still remember it. That's how good it was. Patrick Stefan of the, I guess, Atlanta Thrashers had an empty net.
Yeah.
And he didn't score. And bing, bang, boom, goes to Stoll, goes to Hemsky, Oilers score, tie it up, win the game. And Ferraro was ferocious in his criticism of the player, of Stefan. And I'm not saying that always happens, because it doesn't. That's a rare thing. But I do think that sometimes you almost have a commentator who's too close to the team, and the comments that are made sort of flower over, gloss over. Like Evan Bouchard would be an example. I love Evan Bouchard. I defend him all the time. He's had a really poor start to the season, and I think it's okay to recognize that. And sometimes I think that, and I'm not talking about anybody in Edmonton, but I think that sometimes you are around long enough that you don't do what Howie does, which was criticize somebody and then send them flowers. Maybe that's what we should do.
I can't tell you the number of times I did something on a broadcast that pissed Glenn Sather off. Many, many times. I still don't think he's entirely forgiven me for a bunch of them. I would stand behind almost all of them. Right. And the worst one was after the offseason in '86. There was that article in Sports Illustrated. I showed that in the opening of the first game the next season. Holy cow, he almost lost his you-know-what. I didn't make anything up. Right. It was a fact. I get it. You don't like it. Tough you-know-what. I'm a broadcaster, Glenn. I said this to his face. I still don't think he's forgiven me for it. I'm a broadcaster. That's my job. I don't work for you. We're part of a cooperative. I don't work for you. This is what's happening. But it doesn't make any friends, I can tell you that.
And it's interesting that you get to a point where you talked earlier, Paul, about the sophistication of the audience. In 1972, when my dad and I sat down to watch hockey, well, he'd already worked half a day, because that's what you did back then. You worked half Saturdays, then you'd come home, and then he would have done a bunch of things. And the last hockey game he would have watched was a week previously. So it was a different world. You didn't have the I'll use the word obsession, but I mean it in a nice way. people are people know how much ice time Bouchard had last night. It is I'm sure for hockey players, they wouldn't mind if people just relaxed a little bit about about the level of play in October when nothing really matters until April. But from a broadcast point of view, I guess that gets back to the idea that you want to go as wide as you possibly can, but being critical and have it as a standalone, it's always been tough to do, and I think it still is.
With social media, the viewers today are more educated than they've ever been. I think the key to success on a broadcast is that whether it come from the production side or if you're a commentator, you need to be authentic,
right?
And you need to not have an agenda, because the viewers can see that. So if you're like Ray Ferraro is Ray Ferraro.
Yeah.
Ray Ferraro you see on TV is the Ray Ferraro that would walk right in here with his coffee. There's no difference, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have an agenda. If he'll call out good, he'll call out bad, and that's what makes him as good as he is.
Right.
There's a lot of commentators in not only the hockey business but all others that have agendas, right? Maybe they're a coach that was fired by that team or whatever, or had an internal and they can. It doesn't have to be obvious, but you can tell, and the educated fan can tell there's something going on underneath or whatever, right? So I just think if you're authentic, if you're your true self, and you don't have an agenda, that's the two keys to being a successful broadcaster.
Right. And in this market, I think, and I will give credit because he works for the Oilers, but I think Bob Stauffer does a very good job of not necessarily calling out in an overly negative way, but by acknowledging that a player is not having a good game.
I just don't understand why. Maybe it's just some people have that verbal skill and some don't, or maybe it's just something in your core, like that won't allow you to not do that. Like that would be the kind of broadcaster I would be. I can't sugarcoat it. Like when Brendan Little came in against the Mariners, we're going to the Jays, and Dan and Buck were as critical as Dan and Buck would ever get. Give me a break. Like, are you kidding me? That was one of the worst managerial decisions I've ever seen in my life. And I mean, Buck moved slightly off his square to say, "Ooh, that may not have been." Are you watching the game? Are you watching? And then it's embarrassing. It's just embarrassing.
And then you lose credibility, and then it becomes difficult to get it back.
This is what I'm saying.
No. Once you've lost credibility, it's gone.
Yeah.
Because again, the viewer, they know it, right? And now it's all over social media, and now you might as well get a T-shirt made because you're living with it.
Oh yeah.
If I may cut in here, gentlemen, we got a question from the YouTube chat. Also, hashtag Buck Martinez was right about the Yankees. Anyways, he was pretty critical then.
He was.
Lansky, and I'm sure, Paul, you have an answer for this too. Why does the NHL limit overlapping games? Late West start times is minimizing star exposure. NFL will overlap games and have less teams and less games to contend with. It's kind of a two-parter. Why can't NHL games ever start on time?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to use the term backwards, old-timey thinking. Am I close?
Yeah, you're in the neighborhood. You're in the neighborhood. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The NHL is never going to be the most progressive league, I don't think. And when it comes to stuff like that, right?
Yeah. And the other thing too is, I mean, now you're talking about time zones, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't have you don't want them all to be in prime time in mountain time, or you don't want them to be in the East. You kind of have to stagger, right? Nobody's going to go to every San Jose Sharks game if it starts at 4:30, they do battle that. It's not like football Sunday where all the games are basically on one day, right? With the exception of a couple of them,
at two start times.
These games, I think tomorrow is Frozen Frenzy where like 16 games are being played, right?
Yeah.
Pretty hard to like fit those all into like a couple of tiny slots.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting. Those things don't bother me though. Like, that specifically
doesn't bother me either.
No. So stuff that bothers me are one thing that bothers me is if a game is going long and they delay the game.
Yes.
That bothers me because I'm old. So if the second game starts late, then Lowetide doesn't get his sleep.
Oh, I thought you were going to mean like you could croak and not make it to the end of the next game.
Well,
that's
thanks
what I
for
thought you were
thinking
going to
of me
say.
in
Well,
that
no,
way.
that's
It
just
was
what you
terrific.
said, and not me, really.
Give him a mute button.
The one guy who doesn't have a cough switch needs a mute button. That's what we're dealing
You
with
were
here.
pointing there. You're agreeing
I
with
was just
that.
going to say, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm on Team Al on this one because not even as a fan, but when we would do playoffs, and let's say we have a Nashville series, right? They would to make it work for their neat and tidy double headers. They'd push the Nashville game to the west, to the late time slot.
Oh, wow. That
right?
is late.
Right. So then I've had games in like the central time zone that have dropped the puck at 9 o'clock at night.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Which is not fair to anybody.
No.
The one game I was doing a Colorado at Minnesota game. Colorado had played the night before at home, so they chartered up to Minnesota, got into their room at like 3 a.m. They pushed their start time, kept shifting and sliding and sliding and sliding. They didn't drop the puck till 9 o'clock at night. And then Colorado had to play a 9 o'clock game local, then get on a plane and fly back to Colorado.
This was the playoff series?
No, that I don't
Regular
know.
season?
It might if it wasn't, but anyway, I just remember that being so. Yeah,
crazy.
Where is that? That's where it doesn't. It's not fair.
All right, it's 1:18. We're going to take a break. Jason Krueger is going to talk to us next, and then we're going to continue with Inside the Truck podcast and our conversation. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Krueger to Curious to Lowetide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
It's a new season, Edmonton, which means it's time for new offers. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. This is your chance to score big. And for a limited time only, our listeners can get an exclusive $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for an exclusive $50 free bet. Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, please use your game sense. PlayAlberta.ca.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
Ugh, seriously, another door knocker? I really want to go solar, but these high-pressure tactics are exhausting.
And their prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Dennis here from Weiss Johnson, along with my brother Mark.
Hi there.
My bro is the go-to for all our tough installs.
I do all the hard work. He gets all the glory. Mister, I'm on the radio.
Hey, we can't all be famous, but seriously, Mark's the best. And he's here if you're looking to add a legal basement suite in your home.
We install tons of furnace systems for folks wanting basement suites. It helps to subsidize their mortgages.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Obviously.
Weiss Johnson, your legal suite heating system experts.
Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Another season is upon us. The smell of locker rooms, hockey bags, pumpkin spice lattes, and burnt oil.
Uh-oh. Don't let your vehicle get benched this season. Swing by Napa Auto Parts for top quality oils, parts, tools, and everything you need to keep your ride in winning shape for the games ahead. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. We will tell you that our friend Declan is not here today. So we will not have declinations, but we will tell you that his feature is brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca, articles, podcasts, and more, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double E football coverage online, elksnation.ca. And with that, he smoothly slides into the studio. Hello, Jason Krueger.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing, in honor of these two, the old Muppets, old guys in the balcony.
Okay.
What are they called, Steve?
Waldorf and Statler.
Yeah, so they've been called by their listeners Waldorf, and Statler.
Okay.
Although Steve's the only old guy.
I thought it was a potato head. I only saw
Oh,
the Asian. I was wondering what that
that's
was.
more to do with my physique, and thank you for mentioning that.
The purple on you is
Oh, well, I like purple.
Yeah,
I'm a big
I like
purple
it. It's
guy.
very shiny.
Thank you. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good.
Yeah. Did you enjoy all of the, like, there was a ton of
buddy.
football, baseball, hockey, wild times.
Lots going on right now. Yeah. It's fun. Not if you're an Otter fan, though. Wasn't a good weekend.
Well, it was tough. I mean, you lose to, but okay, how much of that was getting goalied, in your opinion?
Which game?
Both.
I don't think Demko had to make that many great saves that I
Okay.
recall in that game. No, I don't think they got goalied against Vancouver. Without Quinn Hughes in the lineup, you've got to be able to take advantage of that game. And I don't, they scored 3 goals, but I don't recall, like, Demko, the first game of this, when they played him in game 2, he was unreal.
He was
then,
very
but
good. Yeah.
I don't think he had to be that good. And against Seattle, they didn't generate very much at all in that game. And then they didn't give up much. They gave up a lot of odd man rushes. And at the end of the day, they're just, they're slow, showing a little bit of signs of coming to life 5-on-5. But, the Montreal game is obviously the outlier because they had 4 5-on-5 goals in that game. But the rest of the season, it's been plodding, man. Like, McDavid's got no goals, 5-on-5
It's crazy
so far this season. And, Draisaitl just scored a second, right? But Bouchard has none. And, you can talk depth all we want. No, show me the teams. Now, Draisaitl has 7 goals because he scored in the power play, and he's doing his job there. But 5-on-5, this team is still searching for answers.
The 3 years ago, it was 2-7-1, 4-5-1 a year ago, 4-4-2.
Progress, Al.
Well, it's small progress, Jason.
Yeah. 3-9-10.
The one thing that I will give them credit for is that they are not, I'm impressed that Knobloch is getting ice time for young Ike Howard. And because it's hard to do, you're shuffling guys in, and Roslovic has to see minutes because that deadline's coming up. Hyman's coming back; those things will impact. Savoy's getting ice time. I know the lines are shuffling, and people are frustrated with that, but he is getting a look at these guys, and I think Roslovic might be emerging as a guy they can use.
Yeah, Roslovic skates very well, but man, like right now, the Oilers just have too many perimeter players.
Mm-hmm.
They got too many guys on the outside. And, until you start going to the greasy areas more, you're just not going to get as many goals. It's just, to me, it's that simple. Like, Roslovic can fly. Like, everybody's like, oh, the Oilers got to be faster. Well, you know who's the fastest team in the NHL is through 10 games? The Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? Like, we get focused too much on speed. I'm like, speed's one aspect of the game. What about, like, now I'll say this, Trent Frederick didn't really notice him for 8 games. On the weekend, he got better in Seattle. And last night, that was his best game of the year. Wasn't even close, right?
Yeah.
And because he's doing something, he had 8 hits and he was physical, like some of those big hard hits. And guess what? It led to him winning board battles. I thought that line actually was pretty good. And so, Leon Draisaitl's best 2 games 5-on-5 came on the weekend. I thought he was really good against Seattle, and he was solid again. So, they're showing some signs there. They had to split up Bouchard and Ekholm. And I do find it interesting how, people will write and they'll do everything to, Ekholm and Bouchard, it's unlucky. It's unlucky when they get scored on, but when Nurse gets scored on, it's terrible. I'm like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Just look at the goals against at the end of the day. Like Ekholm again, Sherwood went right by him. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that was
got caught
terrible
going
play.
left. It's going
God.
right. Like he, they need Ekholm to play a little bit better, and I expected he will. But the Oilers are still, to me, they're in that early season fog. The good news is it's not like Vegas was last year, right? Where they're running away from it. Vegas has 1 game in hand. And if they win that game, the worst is you're only 5 points back through 10 games. It's not terrible, but you're taking on one of the hottest teams in the NHL tomorrow. And if the Oilers don't wake up, they're going to get spanked.
McDavid, Nuge, Mangiapane, Draisaitl, Podkolzin, Roslovic, Henrique, Frederick, Lazar. How many of those lines would you like to see in the game against the Mammoth?
Well, I think you'll. And then you're Tomasic with the 2 kids.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason to change. Noah Philp, could you put him back in? Sure. He scored, right? Noah Philp scored in limited minutes.
No.
Hasn't hit anybody. That's his problem. I don't think he's understanding, like, what's my role in the team here? My job is, now maybe you put him back with Frederick. And now that Frederick's woken up physically, sometimes it's easier to play that way. But
sure.
I don't know. God love Curtis Lazar. I just don't think he can get there anymore.
It's too bad too, and I was thrilled because I remember him well from the Oil Kings. I was thrilled that he got the chance, but I think Philp has outplayed him, and
Yes.
they're going to have to make a decision when Hyman gets back. Where would you put him? Like, would you put him right on the top line?
Not even a question.
Put him right in there.
Like that. Don't overthink it as well. I would do a little kiss, keep it simple, stupid, and I would put him right there. I think he's the best complement for McDavid. He creates a lot of havoc around the net. He creates a lot of space for Connor. Like if you look even in and I know we don't want to live in the past, but you go back to the Stanley Cup final when they lost Hyman,
it was big.
It makes a big difference. He creates so much space for McDavid at different places on the ice. It's kind of like Podkolzin, but he's more skilled than Podkolzin does. And so no, I'm putting Hyman right there. And I can always move Nugent. I can put Mangiapane in the left wing, and I can move Nugent Hopkins back, to a third line center spot, to where I still think Nugent's played like his best games is when he's played the center ice position this year. I don't think there's any debate on that. Through 10 games, it's just he's been their most consistent forward, and I think he's best when he plays center.
And I'd like to see Henrique more on the wing. I think that I know that he's played a lot of center, but he's 35, and I think that he could slide up and down the wing. I'd rather have Nuge on third line center.
Yeah, but Henrique's then your fourth line center.
Oh, sure.
Right?
But you're not going to play much.
No, but he'll play kind of what he needs to play right now, right? And then you can always moonlight him up and down. He gets a little second line power play stuff, which obviously is 30 seconds, and then he can help out on their penalty kill when need be. So they got things, but to me it's a no-brainer. I'm putting Hyman right back with McDavid when he comes.
So what's your call on the Jays game? They got to win at least one game before Yamamoto pitch again.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, and to say, well, I can't do it again. Well, he just did it 2 times in a row. But the Jays, you know what the thing was, that first inning, God, that's, they had their chance there. Runners first and third, no outs, and they didn't get a run in. So
he's tough.
I'm curious, have they announced, because I was at a meeting earlier today, have they announced yet who's the lineup for today?
I have not seen the lineup. I know
okay.
the starting pitchers, and my suspicion is,
like, is Bo Bichette in the starting lineup today? Is he DH, or what's he doing?
Bo Bichette is at second base, I believe.
All right. Okay, there you go. So I think they just didn't want to play him back to back yet, which I can kind of understand. Give him a little bit of a rest.
Fine. I mean, he got that opposite field thing, and
I wish Springer could play right field, because then, like tomorrow, for instance, if you don't want to play Bo Bichette back to back, like I go back to inning 1, and I got runners on first and third. Vladdy just struck out. I'll still take Bo Bichette in that number 4 spot, because I think he makes contact a lot. He doesn't strike out tons. Right. And all they need there is a sack fly, right? Even Vladdy could hit into a double play for all you care about. They would have surrendered the run in the first inning. So, and if you just get in Yamamoto, it just would have been a different game potentially. But that was like, even Gosman. Gosman was great. He retired 16 straight, and then just had 1 inning. And that's what happens. Like, both teams are good. So I'm looking forward to it, Al. Like, I can tell you right now, it's been a lot of fun. My son's right into it at that age. And so now even the kids I'm coaching on the hockey team, they're all into the Jays right now. So it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun until it's heartbreak, like Andre Dawson hitting into a double play with Rodney Scott on first and Tim Raines on third base in 1981, the first inning of the game.
Rick Monday, Al.
Yeah, the Rick Monday game, which I remember very well.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sad. Elks season is done.
Yeah.
I think there's good things. And I saw Declan tweeting out after the game talking about, what they're going to do next year. Do you think Fajardo will be here as a starter next year?
Well, what other option do they have? Like, I don't think you don't sit Trey Ford out in a meaningless game unless you believe he's not part of the future. And there's part of the future. Then there's also the fact of, if he plays in that game and gets injured, you know what? We all know the offseason signing bonuses.
Yeah.
And you know what? Can you release the guy before then? You can't release him if he's injured. So I think there's lots of those things at play. I think a trade or a release is coming for Trey Ford. So yeah, I think they'd like to negotiate with Cody Fajardo, and then they have to find a younger quarterback, or maybe even a guy with some experience. Like, there's lots of guys that come in and can be a second string quarterback, and all of a sudden they get a chance. Cody Fajardo is one of those guys, right? Until he got his opportunity, he didn't know how good he was going to be. So, but yeah, I think Cody Fajardo comes back, and I hope that they start next season with much more consistent, aggressive play calling. I didn't love the play calling.
Vanilla. They were vanilla.
By the offensive coordinator. Like, they got better later in the year. You go back to that Rankin touchdown run against Winnipeg. Early in the year, there's no chance they're gambling 3rd and 2, right? But they did, and it led to a huge touchdown run that really ultimately won them the game. And so I would like to see, when you look at all the numbers in football, and they're all there, the chance on 3rd and 2 is like 68% of completing it. but teams only gamble 35% of the time on 3rd and 2, never mind 3rd and 1 and below. And so I would like them to be more aggressive. I know Rankin's the most dynamic player, so you got that guy in your back pocket, but I think their offseason will try to find a game breaker receiver, right? Like losing Dunbar hurt them. I'm not sold he's a game breaker, but he's really good route runner. Like I don't know if Curly Gittens Jr. will be coming back here next year. The big guy, 81, who broke his tailbone early in the season, Mathis, I think they missed him just because you can throw him up 50-50 balls. And because of his height, you got a way big advantage, right? Like I'm going up against a 5'10" DB. I got Mathis at 6'6". Just tell Cody, just put it up there, right? But Cody's got to throw in the middle of the field a little bit more.
Yeah, and farther down the field. What's coming up on the show?
Well, today, Kevin Woodley's going to be by. We're going to talk goaltending because I know people, every time there's a goal, that goalie's terrible. Well, here's some of the, like, goaltending's not, well, Stuart Skinner's goaltending hasn't really been an issue this year. There's 32 goalies in the league who've started 5 games. He ranks 9th in goals against average, which last I checked, I will put goals against higher than save percentage. What does save percentage mean? A whole lot of nothing. Like, do you say, hey, a 50 goal score or a 10% shooting percentage?
Right.
What would you rather have, a 30% or 30 goal score and a 25% shooting percentage? No, you'd rather have the 50 goals. So his goals against is 9th. His save percentage is 16th. His goal saved above expected is 1.2. So it's 16th among starters. So he's just above average, which is, you know what? Everybody doesn't think he's that good. So then why do you get mad if he's not dominating? You can't be both. You can't claim he's not a great golie and then be mad that he's above average because that's what he is at this point. So,
and at $2.6 million, that's a value
so
contract.
It's Pickard's numbers. Like I don't know if you can go 6-4 in the next 10 games based on the difference in the numbers, right? Like it's a 2.3 goals against for Skinner and a 3.5 for Pickard. Pickard's -3 in goals saved above expected. Skinner's plus 1.4. So there's 4.5 goals if you're going on that alone. Then you look at save percentage. So I think they might have to ride Stuart Skinner here a little bit more. And I know everybody's wondering about Ingram. He's only played 2 games.
Yeah, he's not coming up.
His first game was really good. His second game was meh. And then that's to be expected. The guy hadn't played very much in a while, but they're probably going to have to sort it out here. And I think with, you might see Skinner 7 of the next 10, I would think.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Look forward to it. Thanks, man.
Well, look forward to it.
You like the shirt?
Buddy, I like the Muppets.
I have an animal one. I'll wear that one.
Buddy, Animal's unreal.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Dr. Teeth. Let's get him in here.
You're right.
Yeah, Dr. Teeth's money.
There you go. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. Jason Krueger live on the radio coming up at 2:00. We're going to take our final break. We're back with Inside the Truck podcast, folks. Next, Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with
breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 1:38. Lowdown with Lowetide, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com for details. Final segment with our friends. We consider you friends of the show now.
Thank you.
Lansky's been a friend of the show and an enemy of the show, both. I mean, in fairness.
In the same day?
Depending upon the week, it's been like that. So I earlier in the show, I said, what's a story or something that occurred on the Inside the Truck podcast that you are either most proud of or most thrilled that it came out well? Do you sloughed it off and told a story you hadn't told before?
Correct.
Right. So now do you have one?
No, I sloughed it off. It's off my plate. I have a plate. It's off my plate.
You can deal with this guy.
I don't think that's allowed, is
It
it?
isn't allowed.
That's why we're here today, is to tell stories.
This is what he does. He told me 2 weeks ago, I got this story I'm really looking forward to tell, and now he's not telling.
What story was it?
You didn't tell me. You said, I don't want to tell it. I want to save it for the air. Like you always do.
I think it was the Scotty Bowman story.
Well, that's a great story, but I want something from the show.
Don't let him off the hook, Al.
Oh my God. Like,
Don't
what
let him off
have
the
you
hook.
done for me in the last 5 minutes? Is that what
50
you said?
episodes, 50 or 51 episodes.
50.
Well,
50
yeah.
episodes. What the hell, man?
I can't remember what I say on the podcast. Kevin
that's
gets me
the
all
problem.
fustigated when we're talking. I
So-
can't remember what I say.
Do you
remember
remember
he was
the
the brains of the
Do you remember the first question I asked? Who the brains of the operation is? And you said you. And now we are here approximately 100 minutes later, and we have the answer. My goodness.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best.
Can you name 3 of the guests you've had in the 50 episodes?
Yes. Kay Cockrell was my favorite. My absolute favorite. Remember Kay?
Yep.
Yeah. My second favorite, it's a 40-way tie. Why do
Oh,
I
boy.
think Kay would? Who am I forgetting? That was. I mean, I love them all.
You have one.
Dominic
name
Moore
you've-
was right up there for me.
It was good.
So freaking smart he was.
Yeah. No,
He was for me.
yeah. No, he is.
Third, I feel like I'm going to get in trouble if I don't name somebody.
Name somebody.
Who should I be thinking of? You know who I really loved? Oh, and Renee. She did the Indy 500.
Yeah.
I can't remember her last name.
Yeah. Racing with Renee.
Yeah,
She's good,
Racing
yeah.
with Renee was
Yeah. I
that
like
was fantastic.
Randy Hahn. You enjoyed.
Randy
I
Hahn
know
was
that.
great.
Hahn is
Yeah,
great.
Randy was great.
Very
Stories were amazing.
Talking about Inside Out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I like Julie Stewart Binks, our last one, where we actually got her to admit for the first time ever publicly that she dated Matthew Perry. We dragged
Oh,
that out
really?
of her. Yeah.
Oh,
And she just stone cold gave it up.
wow.
We just said, hit us. We listed up a bunch of celebrities that she's interviewed. She did a thing called Drinks with Binks where they'd actually
Right.
have alcoholic drink. Whatever. And we just said, okay, well, there's all these names of people.
Right.
Tell us a story about one. She goes, I can't pick one. You pick one for me. And then
I had a
goes,
list that you had sent
Yeah.
me.
Then he
Yeah.
goes, Matthew Perry. And she paused for the longest time. And she's like, well, because I dated him.
Wow.
Yeah, she said, I've never told the
Yeah,
story before.
right. So
I've
that
never
was
told
a
the
fun
story to
moment.
anybody.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
So out of you saying, I don't remember anything, we got that gem, and well done. I don't remember anything. And then all of this stuff piles out.
It's the court appearance,
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
enough court appearance where I don't remember anything. I
Right.
don't remember
No.
anything.
No,
It's just an automatic.
I'm sorry, officer. I didn't remember anything until,
That's right.
once the 6 fire engines went by. 6 fire engines. What about you? Any story that you either heard or told on the entire 50 episode Inside the Truck library that you were like delighted you got out there?
Well, the one I like the best was the 2001 World Junior Hockey Championships in Moscow. I was over there for TSN, and it was the first time that a North American broadcaster had been over there since the Goodwill games. Right,
Wow.
the Iron Curtain had shut everything down,
Yeah.
but TSN was the broadcast partner for Hockey Canada, so we had a contract to do that tournament. So we flew an entire production team over there to Moscow to do the games from the Luzhniki Ice Palace, which
Paul Henderson.
yeah,
Yeah.
72 Summit Series, etc. So we get over there, and of course, Moscow is completely, nothing any of us had ever seen before, right? And nobody apparently speaks English over there.
Yes.
So
I like the air quotes.
Yeah. Well, we had a driver, Sergey, who would drive us from the hotel to the rink every day, and we would try to converse with him. And he would just shake his head like, I don't speak English. I didn't say that. It was just like, don't even try, right? So I was with my producer, John Hines, and he was just on a rant about something, right?
Heinz was?
Yeah. And like, it's hilarious the way he's like ripping this story apart. And all we can see is Sergei's shoulders just bobbing up and down, right? Like, he's understanding every word and laughing his head off in the front seat. Anyway, I digress. The story is, we get there and we've rented this truck from Sweden, our TV truck, our production mobiles, driven all the way from Sweden over ferries and all that and everything. Bang, it's in Moscow and it's parked in front of our hotel. When we get there, we're like, no problem. We're a couple days to, open up, but we opened on Boxing Day, I think, against France or something like that. We're like, no problem. That wasn't panic, right? So our truck's parked there or whatever, and it's getting close to game day and it's still there. I remember going to bed the night before the opener on Boxing Day, and I'm like, when I wake up, that truck better not be parked out in front of the hotel anymore.
Because you have set days. Like,
you have
to have
truck's supposed to be parked. It's supposed to be plugged in, powered. We're supposed to unpack the cameras and check out everything, right? So we wake up on game day, have breakfast in the hotel, got my bag, go over to get this tournament started, broadcast it to millions of people in Canada, walk out of the front door of the hotel, and guess what? The truck's still parked there. So I get on the phone to our technical producer. I go, what's going on? And they're like, we're in big trouble here. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, the Russians won't let us, the Russian Ice Hockey Federation will not let us park the truck. They will not let us power the truck, and they will not open the doors for us to put any cameras in.
Wow.
Would there be anything that would change that?
Yes. A briefcase full of American dollars. Yeah.
I'm shocked.
I know, shocked, right?
Yeah.
So, we get on the phone. Keith Pelly was the president of TSN back then. And we get on the phone, myself and producer John Hines, and we're like, if we don't give into their demands, we're going to have to take a feed of the Russian broadcast. And I don't know if anybody's ever seen hockey games broadcast in Russia, but it's like a 70s disco dance video. Everything snap, zoom in and out, flash frame, like stuff popping all over the screen. It's not what Canada would be huddling around the TV to watch on Boxing Day. Right?
You're kidding me. They don't do it the same way as we do.
I'll tell you what. So we did a side-by-side with them, and the game camera guy working the game camera for Russian TV was so drunk he puked in the main camera platform and passed out in the third period.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
I know, right?
Why weren't we leading with this stuff? We got Matthew Perry dating Binks, and we got cameraman puking in Moscow. And we're done.
We got 15 minutes out.
We buried the lead.
I know, we totally did.
So did they get an envelope of cash?
So we paid, I guess, enough cash to open up the doors and bring the cameras in. So it was like the Amazing Race to get us all set up technically, but they wouldn't let us take power from the building. So what we did was Kent Angus, God bless him, he ran Nike Hockey. So his Nike, he oversaw all the jerseys, all the team swag, the sweatsuits, the referees up, everything. He had connections in Moscow and connections. The Air Bunnies. So we ended up, the way we got power for that broadcast was we rented a generator truck, gas-powered generator truck that was in the Russian military that fought in Afghanistan. It came over, they fired it up. We took power from the generator truck, but they wouldn't turn the generator truck on every day unless we gave them $5,000.
Oh my God.
So it was probably the most expensive World Juniors TSN's ever done. But yeah, that was one of those ones where you wake up in the morning in a cold sweat going, you would not believe the nightmare I had last night. Only it would actually happen in real life.
The big mistake I hear is that you didn't make a package deal at the beginning.
No,
how much do we have to give you for all 10 games?
No, here's the deal. Like, TSN executives negotiated a deal. They had a handshake agreement. Everything was on paper. And then
a handshake agreement,
right? And as soon as they got over there, the Russians went like, yeah.
What I want to know is, why did you sleep the night before you knew this was going to happen?
Do I have to give you the real answer, Al, or can I give you a fake one?
Did you just think this is going to go down no matter what I do?
Yeah. What happened was there was a guy. It was a bar there called Pete and Marty's, I think.
This story involves a bar.
It does, and the guy who owns the bar was from Halifax. So he would come over there, and he would like, oh my God, it's TSN, come on in or whatever. We would drink free, and we would do. And then the other thing over there, he put all these free beers in front of us. But the rule in Russia is you do a shot of vodka before you have your beer. So I slept very well that night.
Oh my God, that would be wild.
I remember that broadcast. It might not have been your finest hour, that first one. Yeah,
that cameraman might not have been the only guy that didn't feel well.
the legendary media stories about what happens around alcohol. I've heard this story 3 times from 3 different people, including Derry Jones. But they were in Montreal for a playoff series, maybe 81, and they were at several different bars, and it was really cold and you couldn't get a cab. And so they had called a cab, that cab was gone, and they were like really getting cold. And there was a cab across the street. Terry went racing across the street, and he fell and he hit his head on the bumper, and he's bleeding. And he gets up, gets in the back, and he goes, whatever the name of the next bar they were going to, and he tells everybody to get in. That's media at its best. We're not going to lose this cab.
Print media. That's print media.
Yeah. That's right.
We're higher end. With
Slightly. I'll tell you what, every year I would do the Labor Day Classic in Regina. There'd be an RCMP cruiser parked right beside our truck just for, crowd control purposes or whatever. And a couple times I peeked in and there was a breathalyzer right in the front seat. And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere near there.
No, that's the way.
I got a question from the text line here, gentlemen. After listening to you 3, I just have one question. Who's Mo, who's Larry, and who's Curly?
Well, I think we're all Curly. I mean,
we are. I mean, look at our salad.
Yeah.
You guys are Larry and Mo. I think that's.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Pillman says, "Can you gentlemen come on every month and give LT another break from the young punks picking on him all day?" That's true. Love the show. Cheers, boys.
That's awesome.
This has been fun. I did have about 5 minutes. And we have 5 minutes just to talk about Inside the Truck podcast and where it's been and where it's going. 50 episodes. Yeah. That's a hell of a deal. And I know from talking to Steve and also listening myself that you have a significant following, but you're always, people, not me, but other people are always looking to do bigger, better. What are you looking for in the future?
Well, you said following. So you just want to tell about when you went to St. Louis? Like you walked into the truck in St. Louis on, when were you in St. Louis? Thursday?
I forget what day it was. Day one of the road trip was St. Louis.
Let's say you were in St. Louis on Thursday.
Yeah. So I'm working in St. Louis, and there's a video operator. So he's the guy and it's responsible for making all the pictures in the camera, right? All the brightness is right, the color is corrected, and all that and everything, right? And so I meet with him to give him here's how many cameras we have, here's where we're deploying them, blah 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 blah. And I'm just talking to this guy, and he's just giving me a blank stare, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he's not listening to me. And I go, "Did you get all that?" And the first thing out of his mouth, he goes, "I love your podcast." Awesome. So do I have to go back and start over?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, he sends me a message and he's like, "Here's what I just got in St. Louis."
Yeah.
I love it.
We do have listeners all over the world, really. We give them shout outs at the end of each one. And like every time I'll look at, our analytics, I'm like, wow, we were big in Australia, Steve. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I think it's because 2 things. Number one, it is a really tightly edited show. Like there's no dull. And I listen to podcasts. There's a lot of ums and ahs and inside jokes. You really don't have that. You do a very good job, thorough job of explaining what you're talking about. I think that's probably Steve, but I might be wrong because Steve does set the tone or the story very, very well. And then the other thing that I noticed about it is the rapport. Chemistry is a weird thing, right? You either have it or you don't. But you two are when I was listening, and I don't care. But when I was listening, I was just aghast that you were defending Glavin over Morris. I thought,
wouldn't I? What's a better pitcher?
But Morris, like the Twins, right?
Yeah.
Where did he go from Minnesota?
Oh, he was in Detroit. He was in Toronto.
Right. So where did he win? Where did he win the World Series? What towns?
I think it's more than that.
No. You have to. I asked the question.
Well, he probably won in Detroit in '84, and he probably won in Toronto, and he probably won in Minnesota, but I'm not sure. Yeah,
87. So that would be 3.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he went to Poughkeepsie and didn't win there, but he did really well till then.
Right. If I got one game, I'm picking Tom Glavine. He was so precise. He was so detailed.
It was like the 3rd pitcher in the rotation.
That shows you how good he was.
No, it doesn't. It shows you how good everybody else was.
And I thought you would buy that when I said it. I really thought you would buy
Al, this is what it's like when we do this with him. We don't talk about any of that stuff in advance. We don't share any of our information. When we talk, like it's right off the top of our head.
Yeah.
And to speak to your point about the chemistry and stuff, before we came in to see you today, we were like running some air, and Steve had to get his World Series Blue Jay hat from the mall, right?
Of course.
So we were like we were just acting crazy. Like him and I get together, it's like that. I said, we should actually make like a reality TV TV show. We're going the wrong way down escalators. We're like making fun of the Tim Hortons lady. Like we're in Lids trying to like we're trying to Lids trying to get the Lids lady to order him a World Series hat off a website they don't even run. Like and like, but this is just us on a regular. So what you hear on the podcast, this is not acting. It's just what it is.
Well, then what we've decided is you guys have to add a roving camera to your day-to-day lives. when
You'd
you're
have
together.
no idea. We
Yeah.
did go the wrong way down an escalator.
We did,
and
yeah.
you didn't initiate that. I did,
You
and I
did.
only have one knee.
That's right.
What the
And
hell were we
I almost
thinking?
blew mine out at getting to the bottom of it.
When you're saying wrong way down the escalator, you walk down an escalator going up?
No, we went up about how many stairs? 10.
Yes,
and then we realized we needed Tim Hortons, which was at the butt. So I just turned around. I said, "Let's go back down." So I started running down, and then I looked back here, and Susie Cream Cheese is going like one at a time, really slow.
And not
I'm like,
getting
"You're not
anywhere.
gonna make it."
I'm still stuck in the middle.
Right,
Yes,
not getting anywhere. That's right.
Have you ever seen a dog do that? It's, it's funnier with the dogs, just so you know.
That happened
was
about 2 hours ago.
There was a mother and the daughter. They'd stopped shopping at the store that the front that they were in and stopped and watched me
Right.
try to get down.
Look at these two clowns.
But we've known each other 41 years, so this stuff's going to happen, right?
Yeah, we
There you
both met when we were 5 years old.
All right. Well, listen, best of luck tomorrow. I know that fans listening will not want the Mammoth to win, but I know you'll do a brilliant job. And thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
You know, big fan of the show. Seriously, long time listener, first time caller. But you know what? One quick story is like I have my goal has been to meet you at the rink.
Oh, wow.
And there has been 2 or 3 times where I've gone into the media room and you have been there, and then I was off to do something else quickly. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to Seattle in a second. And I got back and you're gone.
Well,
so I was 0 for 3. So it's nice to finally meet you today.
I leave because I can't see from up there. So I go down where I usually sit and watch it from there. Boys, we have to do this again. This was a delight. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks, Sal.
All right. Jason Krueger on the way. Please enjoy your day. That was great.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Loca Quality Market. Your fridge just got an upgrade. Over 200 chef-prepared gourmet meals waiting at Loca Quality Market. Shop local at loca.ca. Game 3 of the World Series tonight in Los Angeles as the Blue Jays look to take a 2-1 lead. Max Scherzer starting for Toronto with first pitch at 6 p.m. Only 2 games in the NHL tonight as the Senators host the Bruins and the Blues head to Pittsburgh. Monday Night Football has the Commanders facing the Chiefs in Kansas City. Kickoff at 6:15. And off the field, Tyler Lockett has signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Lockett had signed a 1-year deal with the Titans in April and had 70 yards on 10 catches before being released last week. And some sad news out of the NFL as Raiders legend George Atkinson has passed away at 78. Atkinson was part of the legendary Soul Patrol that helped the Raiders win the Super Bowl in 1967, served as a pre- and post-game broadcaster after he retired. Raptors on the road tonight as they take on Wemby and the Spurs at 6. 10 other games on the hardwood, including the Cavaliers heading to Detroit, the Magic and 76ers facing off in Philly, the Thunder roll into Dallas, and the Timberwolves and Nuggets go head-to-head. In the CFL, the Owlettes have signed fullback David Dallaire to a 3-year contract. The 2027 Grey Cup host city has been named, with Regina getting the honors. Coming up at the top of the hour, it's the Jason Krueger Show here on Sports 1440, and this has been your Sports 1440 update with Sam Wilness.